For some analysis, I'm joined from Santa Barbara, California by NewsHour Weekend special correspondent Jeff Greenfield. Jeff, the parties have spent so much time trying to make sure that this sticks on the other guy, so to speak, but it seems that both of them have something to pay here. Let's start with the Republicans. What's the cost to them?
Well, they're in charge of everything, the House, the Senate, presidency, and so the normal reaction would be that if something goes bluey, the party in power would get blamed. Also, broadly speaking, the issue that's hanging this whole shutdown up, the DACA program, that is supported in general by massive majorities of Americans in both parties. And so their fear might be that in not acceding to what the Dreamers need and tying up the government, they'll look like, despite all the power that they now have, that they're simply unable to govern. And that's, I think, one of their big concerns. Despite
the framing by Republicans, this might be about the Dreamers, but that kind of attack ad that comes out, the campaign ad, really paints the Democrats as complicit, I think is their word, in all future murders from illegal immigrants.
That is a startling ad. And what's so startling about it is the head-snapping turn that it required from what the president's been saying all along. I want a bill of love. We really don't want to punish those people who came here as children. And periodically during this whole run-up, telling first Senators Durbin and Graham and then Senator Schumer, yeah, we can work out a deal. And now basically saying, if there's anybody who dies at the hands of any illegal immigrant, you blame the Democrats. I mean, that is cranking it up to 11, if I can put it that way.
Yeah, all right. Let's talk about the costs to Democrats here. What do they have to lose?
This is a really interesting dilemma I think the party finds itself in. Nationally, the party has moved well to the left, not just on social issues, but on immigration. There was a time when a lot of Democrats sided with labor unions and saying we don't want a lot of low-skilled immigrants to come here. But now the Democrats in the Senate who are thinking of running for president, it looks like half of them, but Cory Booker and Gillibrand and Harris and others, are saying, no, we have to make protection of the immigrants the absolute red line here that we can't cross. But you also have 5 Senate Democrats running for re-election in very red states where immigration's a lot less popular. Those national numbers don't play there. And that's one of the reasons why 4 of those incumbent Democrats voted with the Republicans to keep the government open. There is some concern among Democrats that if they're seen to be shutting down the government simply to protect undocumented, or if you prefer illegal immigrants, that may be a political cost.
All right, what about the president?
How many times have we sat here and I said, this is not normal? What you have here is a president who claims to be the great deal maker, who on repeated occasions has set forth the idea of a deal that then has been pulled back. Both with Senators Lindsey and Graham, they came down to the White House. The president said, come on down, let's talk. They found themselves surrounded by very hardline anti-immigrant staff members and a couple of hardline senators. Chuck Schumer went down, negotiated over cheeseburgers. A couple of hours later, he was told, forget it. And so that's why you have had no less than Mitch McConnell saying, we really have to know where the president stands before we can come to an agreement.
All right, Jeff Greenfield joining us from Santa Barbara, California. Thanks so much.
Okay.